Hi, so this is a 2 to 3 month review of Claude Cowork, and we're going to see how is it working. Also, I set up one very simple workflow: open my LinkedIn, reach out to a specific cohort of people, and that's it. Like reach out doesn't send a connection request. That's it, and I can share all of just a moment. Yeah. So all of these folks that you're seeing over here, the very recent ones, for example, if I so my search was just that, hey, dear Claude Cowork, go on LinkedIn, on my LinkedIn, find everyone who has the titles of either L&D or learning and development in the LinkedIn, and if they are in Delhi NCR or in Mumbai, just send a connection request. So that is what Claude has been doing so far, and I can show that to you over here. So Claude Cowork is only working on Claude Desktop as of now. Ideally, it should only work there. And you can go on the sidebar and you can switch between chat, Cowork, and code. You go to Cowork and you see I have scheduled my skills. So you click on scheduled and you'll be able to find. So I have multiple of them. This one, for example, LinkedIn ID outreach is the one that I've set up. Let's click on it. So very simply, you can see it started. The first time I ran it was March 23, roughly 3 months back. And over here, you can see the objective is very simple. Let me make some room. Yeah. So the objective is very simple. Send 5 connection requests without a note to L&D professionals in Gurugram, Delhi, and Mumbai. And if you find a follow button, just follow them. Simple, right? So this is the mission that stop. When do you want Claude to stop? So it will only stop when it is done with 5 connection requests. Now, opening, for example, I've also given it. I did the whole thing manually once, and I copy pasted these URLs. For example, if I open this one, I copy this URL. I open LinkedIn. I go to new page and to this particular URL, and there you go. So that is a search URL I was able to copy, right? I will search for L&D manager, second, third connections, locations. I mentioned Mumbai, Delhi, Gurugram, and that's it. The moment you click on show results, this URL, I just copied that. And for some variation, I also gave sometimes the query, search query can be L&D manager, sometimes the query can be learning and development, right? So now Claude was unable to figure out when to use what, right? So these are the ambiguities you have to clarify beforehand. So I just mentioned, hey, if it's an odd day of the month, use L&D. If it is an even day of the month, use learning and development. So you can see the same thing. For example, today also, few hours ago, this ran, and you see, 1 second. Yep. So you see LinkedIn L&D outreach, 12th of May. The query is learning and development because it's an event day. Today is the 12th, right? And pages processed for 5 connections sent to these 5 folks over here. Page 1 was entirely exhausted. All profiles already pending or connected from prior sessions. No follow only buttons were encountered. 32 profiles were skipped due to existing pending invitations or existing connections. So what it does, it opens LinkedIn in my browser. It opens LinkedIn. It goes to this URL and it keeps on scrolling until it finds either a follow button or it finds a connect button. For example, let me go to 8th page. Yeah, if it sees a connect button, it clicks on that, increases the counter. Okay, I have connected with 1 out of 5 people, and then it keeps on going as long as it can keep on finding these folks. And whenever it encounters any person who has a follow button, it will just click on follow. Now, one thing to note, this particular person over here is a second degree connection, meaning not my connection, but they have a follow button over here. But if I open their profile, I will be able to click on the more button and then send a connect request. But again, I don't want, so this is one sort of what do you say? So coming from a automation perspective, it's a task that is quite mechanical, and I didn't want to overcomplicate it for Claude as of now. That if you see follow and then you see second, then go to the profile, find the button and everything. Because this is just working fine for me, right? So far it is working fine. The moment it exhausts results, that is the point I'll actually come in and make the changes. So now, even if you see, it is saying that you can access the full report over here. I'll just click on this. It is basically a markdown document over here, and Also, you'll see if I click on show in folder over here on the top right, all the reports from since the very beginning of this have been stored over here. Let me open the first one. So this is the first report I can see from 23rd March. It's on my different screen. Let me, oops, one second. So yeah, looks pretty codey. Mm, yeah, so that's a preview of it. Sorry about the dark mode. But yeah, so over here also you can see all in all 21 folks will send a connection request. So with time, I actually had a chat with Claude, and with time, I actually optimized the whole prompt further. That hey, don't just send a request to every single person. For example, L&D manager was the query that was used, and 3 pages of connections were processed, of people results were processed, right? And it just sent a request to every single person, followed these many folks, skipped this particular person because only message button was available. Fine, makes sense. So these are the things you can actually use Claude Cowork for, majorly for browser use. LinkedIn is from in my experience, LinkedIn is quite notorious when not like notorious, but it's very logged system, and getting automations to work over there are pretty. Either you have to go for the Appify, or you have to go for the apps that are pretty expensive over there. Claude Cowork just working. I'm already paying for Claude, and this is one task that I no longer have to deal with. So it's completely fine. Just one quick thing I can actually show you. Let's do one thing. I clicked on show in folder, and I have all these documents available in this particular folder. I'll do one thing. I am on a Windows system. I'll copy this particular path. I'll close this window, and let's open a new task, and we can just ask it, right? Not required. So we can just ask Claude that, hey, can you analyze? It's fine to make typos. Can you analyze all these markdown? Don't get confused with markdown. It's just a file format, like how you have document and PowerPoint files. Markdown is just a file format. So I'll just ask, can you analyze all these markdown documents for me? They are placed in this particular folder. And then what we need to do, I'll just mention that I want to know how many connection requests have we sent so far. Simple. And I think for this particular purpose, I'll just allow it to work without any approvals. Yes, continue, and let's see what happens over here. So yeah, that is how basically Cloud Cowork is working so far. I am pretty happy with it because you also have to understand the possibilities and the limitations of these tools. mm, 1 second. Yeah, anyways, let it do its let it do its work. So yeah, the possibilities and limitations of all these tools, right? So for example, opening LinkedIn using my browser on my behalf is something that you can just let it work on. And these are the ones, only you have to mention guardrails that, hey, do not message anyone, do not randomly open people's profile. Sorry, I just opened one profile because anyways, a lot of things. But yeah, and don't open my profile, don't make any changes, don't go to the settings page or anything. So what happens, the first time it ran, it asked approval, it required approval from me for each and every step. Hey, is it okay if I open Chrome? I'm like, yes, go ahead. Then it will ask, hey, is it okay if I open this URL? I'm like, yeah, sure, go ahead. Is it okay if I click on this button and everything? It is painful, it is a bit inconvenient, but that is the initial investment you have to do from a time and effort perspective. So the time and sweat you have to put in the first half, and then every day whenever I open my laptop, for example, or whenever it gets internet connection, it starts working. Now you see, I just gave the path, and it says it found 37 files, and it is doing, I think it will read every single file one by one. I'm not sure whether that is very efficient, but I never asked it. Okay, it's already done. So I never asked it to keep a tracker of sorts, right? I can actually go ahead and do that as well. But you see, here's how it breaks down. First big patch, no connection, total sessions and everything. So So far you see growing saturation, more recent reports show 30 to 48. So this kind of an overview actually makes sense. Now this particular task that I just did, now what I can do, I can actually make like a weekly summary or like bi-monthly summary of it and start a new task. And how do you do that? Let's check that out. Can you convert this into a skill or into a scheduled skill? I want it to run a bi-monthly, let's say, bi-monthly analysis, and suggest what changes can be made, or improvements can be made in the initial skill. You see two failed runs, one overshoot, everything is fine. And so far, 187 connection requests sent to the right cohort, and like without my involvement, right? So I only had to spend the initial 1 hour or roughly 30 40 minutes to make it work. And once you give the permissions for every single thing, right? Open Chrome, approved. Go to LinkedIn, approved. Open this particular search page, approved. And then how to find the connect buttons and everything, approved. How to, when you run out of connections over here, how to go to the next page, approved. So once you approve all these set of actions, next time it won't ask for your permission. Therefore it won't do anything new without your permission as well, right? So that is the inconvenience you have to take care of earlier, in the first run. Currently I have just done this act without asking is on, because I know if anything happens I can just stop it right away, right? And just to keep the video short. So that was the reason. But you see over here, and it is now working fine for me. And I just asked it to do this thing. Schedule task. Let's see what has happened. Runs on the 1st and 15th of every month at 9 a.m. Sure. Read all outreach reports from your LinkedIn outreach folder. I have already given it the folder early on over here. This one, I'm just taking that from there. Compute metrics, total connection sent, saturation trend. So the saturation trend I did not even mention, right? That is the beauty of having such sort of an intelligent automation or like a smart automation. It can think, right? Else, in normal automation tools, you have to set up every single thing. These are the metrics. This is how you collect the data for that, and this is how you further do analysis on query performance, which query is working fine, failed run frequency, how many runs are actually failing. I would like to know that as well. Identify improvement opportunities, covering search strategy, location filters, blah blah blah. So everything is here. So far, I am very happy with this, right? One thing to do before June 1, click run now from the schedule. So folks, this is the one section that I just spoke of. You have to run it once so that it can actually, so let me just close these. Yeah. So it has to run once whenever you're setting it up. And so that it has an understanding, okay, is this what you want? Is this what you want? Which is a very good thing to be done, right? Let's do one thing. So I'll find this particular skill that is created or task. I'll click on this and you come to this particular page, all scheduled tasks. If I go back, you see my initial LinkedIn ID outreach, which is an every day at 9 a.m. you have to run, or whenever you open your laptop after that particular time. And then LinkedIn ID outreach analysis. I did not create it, Claude created it by itself. I'll click on it. Bi-monthly analysis, instructions, you can see, scan and read every MD file in over here. I can actually go ahead and make some changes that, when it is done with the last 15 days, make a note of it somewhere so that next time you're not doing the duplicate effort. But I can maybe refine it after I'm done recording this video. So this makes sense for me right now. Let me do one thing. I'll click on run now. So you always have to do this thing and it is running, right? So I'll click on either view over here on the top right, that little toast, or on the left hand side, history. So you can click anywhere and you can see what is happening over here. I can also maybe later come in and check why is this particular command failing and can I do anything to help it. Also folks, one thing, for usage optimization, earlier it was opening LinkedIn, searching for this particular query, and then going through the pages. But the initial part, then I realized that this URL is always static. So you can remove, or you can remove those steps to reduce your usage by just giving it serving the particular page where Claude actually has to work on a platter. So in that case, its token usage gets reduced, And over here it always, less chances of Claude messing it up as well, because a lot of times it was not able to find the location. Like, for example, Gurugram is also, I think, listed as Gurgaon, and it was unable to, first it was searching for Gurgaon, it was not able to find Gurgaon, and it then errored out that, hey, I cannot find it, right? Then I mentioned that, use some brain, and Gurgaon is also being called. I think same happened with Bengaluru as well, and I think I mentioned it as Bangalore, and then it was not able to. So then there are multiple options available as well, right? So good point for you all. If you want to automate something, do it manually yourself first, and then just note down every step that you make, right? And from wherever you can actually, it's like a save point when you used to play games. It won't always start from level one. If you can work till level two and then let AI handle it, it always works best. Quickly coming back to Claude, and it might take a while. So yeah, that's all that I wanted to share with all of you in this particular video. Also, if you want to, okay, so it is searching my Google Drive for some reason, so I have to come back and refine it further. And maybe sometime we can also cover a video next time where, how to edit or how to keep on optimizing that particular skill. So that is also something that is quite crucial, rather than letting it run by itself. So this is something that is there. So yeah, that's just what I wanted to share with all of you. And yeah, keep on finding these kind of cases where you can just let Claude work for you. And also, you're already paying for it. If you have the subscription, right, you are already paying for that, and utilize it. So these are the very few use cases it can actually do. And also, a lot of times, when we talk about web scraping, getting stuff off the internet, a lot of times there are paywalls, or you have to log in. In this case, you can just let yeah, in this case, you can just let Claude work on your Chrome, or work on your desktop, for example, and it will be able to figure everything out. So same logic applies. You log in, give that initial checkpoint from where Claude can pick it up. So yeah, just wanted to share that. I think maybe this I can cover later in another video. But yeah, this is how you can keep on improving your life day by day, hour by hour, minute by minute. So a lot of time was earlier going from my end onto the outreach on LinkedIn, which I felt was very mechanical. It was not a cognitive task that I have to take 100 decisions. It's a very complex process. No, just open this, see if the person is relevant, send a request, send a request, send a request. Of course, cannot even spam folks. So I'll also figure out how further can be optimized. But yeah, that all depends on you. Number one, if you have the process in your mind and if you're already doing it, that is the best place to start. If you're just starting out, for example, I have never done outreach in my life and I want Claude to take care of it end to end, it won't happen, because then Claude won't be able to figure out what needs to be done, right? All of its knowledge and information will come from the internet, and you might not want to use those ways, right? There are a lot of spammy ways as well, right? For example, I put a cap of 5 people max, right? Because again, I don't want, I know LinkedIn's limitations as well. LinkedIn's limitations are way beyond 5, but I don't want to be anywhere under the radar, right? So I was like, fine, let me just work on it in this manner. So some experience from that end is also required. Before that, what you can do, you can just like ask Claude to do research end to end, and I want to do this process, figure out all the nuances, all the do's and don'ts, all the best practices available, and then only we'll be able to move forward. Do that research with Claude, take that research, and then give it to Cowork. So this is how you'll be able to make it work. I think it is done, but never mind. Maybe maybe in another video I'll actually record what happened over here. Nice. I want to cover it in this one only, but I think it will take some time. Never mind. So that's the cliffhanger for this particular video. I will definitely record a separate video when this is out ready. So yeah, happy automating with Claude Cowork.